What's going on, guys? It's Crazy Tales. Welcome back for another video, and this is just a video talking about the road to 2K15. We're almost done with it, which is leading up to it. Next Tuesday is finally release date of WWE 2K15 for next gen. So in this video, I decided just to talk about all the other previous games that came out in this series and where we are now. So if you like today's video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe and anything else to my channel. But first of all, I just want to say yes, I know I haven't uploaded any video the past couple days. I do have new episodes of Hyrule Warriors and Bayonetta. I just haven't had the time to edit them and process them on my channel, but I will do that in the meantime. Just for the most part, I've been focusing on other things, mainly getting ready for 2K15 for that live stream. If you saw on my channel, it's been promoted for almost a month now, the live stream for WWE 2K15. As well as I've been going through some personal stuff, like, I mean, I guess I don't know if I should say it here or not, but I've just been going through the personal stuff, so I really have been like lack of motivation to do stuff here on this channel, but I am trying to get back to it now, especially with 2K15 coming out next Tuesday. So, but yeah, I've just been going through some personal stuff, and I guess this video I'm recording on Tuesday, and Wednesday I'll just find out, guys, what was personal stuff. Wednesday I'll find out how this situation is going. It has nothing related to YouTube channel at all, nothing. It's just for my personal stuff. It's just I'll find out tomorrow what's happening, and that will kind of change the mood of how I am pretty much on this channel. It won't stop the videos, no, it's just change the mood of how I'm going to be decided to do these videos. But anyway, back to this. Yes, we're finally here to almost a 2K15. This is probably the most anticipated game out of every WWE game I have ever played. Because in case you don't know, I'm obviously a WWE fan. WWE's part of my channel. And actually, this channel got started off thanks to my WWE 13 videos I got from Best Buy, which are obviously my most viewed videos still to this day. Ever since then, I try to do stuff different. Nintendo Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider. It works, but it will never amount to back what I did with WWE 13. Hopefully, when 2K15 comes out, I'm actually ready for it. I'm always late to the party when it comes to the game, but with 2K15, I'm ready for it. You will see it on release day, live gameplay on my channel. You will see it. I'll be ready for it. So hopefully that will change the landscape. Hopefully new subscribers will come. Like I said before, at that point will be you will see a growth in my channel. I've been stuck at 1,000 for the past 2 years. I know. For the past 2 years I've been stuck at 1,000. I finally reached 1,500. Not really going anywhere past that point. As of this recording, I have like 1,504. Hopefully, when 2K15 comes out, which is next Saturday, next Tuesday, my bad. It's Smash Brothers, even though it's not WWE related. Smash Brothers comes out this Friday as well, which will be a live unboxing and gameplay of that. You will see the growth of my channel. But anyway, in case you don't know, I've been playing WWE games ever since I was a kid. Kind of still am a kid, debatable. But I started playing it with the WF Warzone games on PS1, WF Attitude, even though it's not related to the series, the main series. I did play the first game. I played the game every single year after that. That's why I'm here to make this video. It's basically just a retrospective look back on all the games and how much I enjoyed them, and now here we are now. Let's talk about the first one, WF Smackdown. Now that came out in 2000 for the PS1. When I first got that game, I already had PS1, I had games like Spyro, Awakening Dragon. I still consider my favorite game of all time. But yeah, we had Spyro, Year of the Dragon, all that good stuff. I finally put in Smackdown. Now back at that time, it was still during the Attitude Era, which that was my childhood, basically, Attitude Era. So it was good playing those games. When I first played that game, it was just amazing. It blew me away. Me and my brother, we used to play hours upon hours with that game. I used to pick X-Pac. And then me and him always picked the Hardys. It was just such a fun experience with that game. It was just amazing. The story mode was kind of good. After looking back at it now, I mean, it was good for what it was. But just the gameplay of that game, you know, it's kind of arcade-like. The gameplay was good too. It was just, I always had a blast with it. And then a couple months later, actually, not a year later, Smackdown 2 comes out. Now, Smackdown 2, Know Your Role. Also released on PS2. This is the only time that a main Smackdown game came out within the same year as actually the same exact year as the previous game, which was the original Smackdown. Smackdown 2 still in the Attitude Era, and it focuses more on the current wrestlers that was at that time, like Kurt Angle, American Badass Undertaker, which is always my favorite persona of the Undertaker. Like Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, all the new superstars, and we used to play the crap out of it. That's when I actually first created my superstar. Was in, I think, Smackdown too. I think it was Smackdown too. If not, it was Shut Your Mouth. I skipped Just Bring It. I did play. I just didn't create a superstar in Just Bring It. But anyway, yeah, Smackdown 2. It was a very good game. Had fun memories of that. I always played as Grandmaster Sexton for some reason. I don't know why. It was just he was just so interesting to me. I always played him in season mode. I always won the life heavyweight title. I never won the WF title with him, but I always played as him in that game for some reason. I guess I just liked his leg drop in that game. I don't know why, but yeah, the game was pretty much the same thing. It's a SmackDown game, and so what? And not so far. SmackDown. Just Bring It for the that was the first time it came out with PS2, which was the next gen console after PS1, obviously. And introduced new stuff. Oh yeah, like speaking with SmackDown 2 introduced, new match like TLC, Cash Match, and Hell in a Cell. The actual Hell in a Cell wasn't really a Hell in a Cell. And then Just Bring It. It was the next gen console, so finally had full-fledged interest for that game and commentary, which for that time was pretty good. And actually had Undertaker's Rolling theme song by Limp Bizkit, which I always played as him. That's the main person I played as, is Just Bring It. And this was basically the end of the Attitude Era, WrestleMania 17, which marked the end of the Attitude Era. So it had Attitude Era and a little bit of post-Attitude Era with superstars from the Invasion like Rhino and then whatnot. You pretty much get the idea, even though it wasn't really more specified until the next game in the series. So Just Bring It, it brought about what you call it? I forgot what I was saying. Just Bring It. It brought in a new full-fledged interest in commentary. Now, Shut Your Mouth. I remember Shut Your Mouth when it came. Cause at that point, I didn't actually have it. My stepbrother had it, and I used to play that game all the time. Well, when I went over to my dad's house, I used to play that game all the time. It was just so freaking amazing. Shut Your Mouth. And I thought none could top that, which we'll get to. You already know what the next game is. If you're a fan of WWE games, you already know what the next game is. But Shut Your Mouth was amazing. It takes place during the Ruthless Aggression era, the start of it, and going forth had Brock Lesnar, obviously everybody's favorite. Randy Orton was the first debut in that game. The story mode was actually pretty good. All whatnot. It was pretty awesome. And actually, also the last game featured Jeff Hardy for a while. And then comes probably arguably or debatable probably the greatest wrestling game of all time. Here Comes the Pain for the PS2 as well. And also Here Comes the Pain marked the final time. It marked the last game in the SmackDown series. Followed that point, it started a new series, but Here Comes the Pain was the last game in the SmackDown series, and that was a great send-off. Holy crap, that game was amazing. My stepbrother also, he got that game too, and we used to have probably the greatest matches on that game. I remember it was been like 2 out of 3, yeah, or 3 Shades of Hell. He beat me once, I beat him. He beat me the first match, beat him the second match in that steel cage, and then it was Hell in a Cell. It was amazing. Because he always used to beat the crap. I was nothing compared to my stepbrother back in the day. But yeah, this game, Pop Beam's 3 Stages of Hell match, it was just awesome. The story mode was awesome. I remember when I created my character, I used to play through story. I won a World Heavyweight title. Then I teamed up with. We dominated. I was the World Heavyweight. No, I was the Intercontinental Champion. Goldberg was the World Heavyweight Champion, and we both had the tag team titles. We dominated season mode. And at the end, it was just so fitting. The WrestleMania 19, it was me versus Goldberg for World Heavyweight title, and I beat him. Even so, I had both titles, and Goldberg still the tag. Me and him was still the tag team champion. So it was just a culminating event. Here Comes Pain, probably one of the greatest SmackDown games of all time. And now that was the end of the SmackDown series. The next year starting a new series for SmackDown versus Raw, still continuing the Ruthless Aggression era for the PS2. But it's just the first time they decided to go about 2 different sides, either Raw or SmackDown, whichever side you decide to pick. Even though later years they started the title, even though it didn't really make much sense, which they soon realized. SmackDown versus Raw, it was good. It was actually pretty good. I love the soundtrack in that game too. It was a good soundtrack. I will admit that. Yeah, the game was awesome. It's just a good memory of that game. Season mode was all right. I mean, I would talk about season mode, but most of you know that season mode is kind of controversial with like the just the stuff that they did in that mode for the time, especially with the Divas. I'm not going to talk about that in season mode. That was kind of something else. But Smackdown vs. Raw was pretty awesome. I remember playing it over my dad's house all the time. I remember Raw. I became the Intercontinental Champion. Straightforward became the World Heavyweight Champion, defending that title. Batista always beat me every single time I became World Heavyweight Champion. Every time the pay-per-view beat me, so I always had to get it back somehow. But at the end, I was able to get the World Heavyweight title, and it was a good game for what it was. Amazing. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, which is still the Ruthless Aggression era. Pretty much, the Regression era is still going on. It was a pretty good game too, especially Raw 2006. People probably consider that up there with Here Comes the Pain for what it did, because they decided to go from the arcade style gameplay to more realistic style gameplay, which is pretty good actually. 2006, I do remember playing the crap out of it. Finally introduced one of my favorite modes of all time, GM mode. Now GM mode was awesome. You get to be a general manager, book the show. That's what I always wanted to do. Like book the shows, like in WWE. I always wanted to dictate what happens when I do season mode, which was, even though they had its own season mode, also had GM mode, which was awesome. I just played the crap out of that. So I thought it was all 2006, and it was just so amazing with that game. But yeah, 2006 came out. It was a blast. Started realistic gameplay, which I always wanted them to do. Have presented just like the actual show. That's the whole point of a video game. Now, SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. One of my classics, SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. It was also the first time it got released on Xbox 360 at that point. It's still in the Ruthless Aggression era. But finally jumped ship the next gen console. And it also was the first time it wasn't on a Sony system. SmackDown vs. Raw, I don't think SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 was the first time it got released on PSP. And then SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 got released on Xbox 360. It was supposed to be released on PS3, but it decided not to for some reason. But anyway, SmackDown 2007, I remember my mom got it, and holy crap, that game was just amazing. Money in the Bank. Me and my friend, either be me and my brother, me and my friend used to play the crap out of Money in the Bank. I think that's the only game we played besides me going to season mode and GM mode. If we always went to exhibition, it was always a Money in the Bank. It was just, that was no doubt about it. Money in the Bank. 6 people going at it. No, it was just a wrap. That's all it was. Season mode was pretty awesome for with this stories that they did, and I always liked that you always had your own locker room. You could customize it, spin the bell, everything. It was freaking amazing. 2007. Now 2008, which I don't know, it's like controversial. I'm starting to realize among fans, people. It's like either you're on this side or this side. I personally like the game. It's considered one of my top 5 WWE games, video games of all time. It's considered some of my top 5. So I don't know what's wrong with it. I used to play the crap out of it. 2008 Kid finally introduced ECW, and at this point I could tell that they decided to take a shift in what they were doing. Yes, they introduced realistic gameplay, which is still realistic to this day. It's just that starting from 2008 onward is always a gimmick to the game. 2008 was based around fighting styles, which I was a brawler and submission specialist, and it had a 24/7 mode, which both had GM mode and season mode together, which I mainly for the most part. I did career mode, which for the most part I did like what they did with it. But you can see with 2K15, it's just way 10 times more better than what they did in this career mode. And GM mode, sadly, was the last GM mode. And I always picked the ECW brand for the GM mode. I don't know why. I just really was into ECW when it came back to it. I mean, I knew about ECW all the way back then. It's just, I just always picked ECW for some reason. Yeah, the game was based around fighting styles, and that was pretty much it. So, not a lot of fans really liked the game for some reason. I don't know why. It's considered one of my top 5, which I'll tell you my top 5 near the end of this video. Um, 2009 came out, and now this was what the oh yeah, by the way, 2008 was the start of me getting the video game every on the day it got released. 2009 was, I mean, my 2008 was the first time I got the game on release day. I never did that before. I always used to get it for either Christmas or like a couple weeks after getting released. 2008 marked the time I always did it every single year, except for one instance, which I'll talk about later. I always got the game on release day, and I always got on PS2. At this point, you know, it came out Xbox 6, PS3. I didn't have it at the time. 2009, I did have it. In 2000, when Smackdown 2009 did come out, I didn't get it on Xbox 360. I still got it on PS2 because to me, it wasn't really a big difference for what they were doing. So I decided just to, and it wasn't really graphically that much different in my opinion. For me, I did have Xbox 360 at the time, so I could have got it, but I decided not to. And whatever. Smackdown 2009, the gimmick, the main theme for that was the tag teaming, which was pretty awesome. You had the Hardy Boys or whatever. They had the Inferno match, which was good, but now it's like it's not really much to it now. The Road Wrestlers, this was started. They took out Siege Mode, instead had Road WrestleMania, which at the time when they first did was pretty awesome because you had seven different superstars. Which I mean, we already, it was Undertaker, CM Punk, Triple H, John Cena, Chris Jericho, and then Batista and Rey Mysterio. I forgot who they picked, but it was good because all had a set story for what they were doing, and I always liked it. And they took out Caremo for this. I hated what they did with 2009, 2010 with the Caremo. It just sucked. Oh, it was just, you get 5 matches, you get the title. And you want to go for another title, 5 matches, you get the title. I always hated how they did that. It was just, I hardly ever played. 2009 I played, I was like, okay, it is what it is. And then I just stopped playing. It was like, there's no reason for me to play this at all. It just sucked. That's the only time. And 2009 was the only time I wasn't actually hyped. I think that's the only time I can remember in history that I wasn't actually hyped for. I mean, I was hyped for the game, but not as I usually am every single year for a wrestling game. Because to me, I thought it was like just, yeah, tag team is good, but that's it. 2008 had ECW, the Extreme Rules match, the 24/7 mode. 2009 they had Road WrestleMania, which was good. It's just that was it. And then now, yeah, 2010, which was the first time I finally decided to get on a next-gen console, which was the Xbox 360, because at that point I realized, yes, there is a huge difference between the PS2 and Xbox 360 version of the game. So I had no choice but to get it for the Xbox 360 version of the game. So, yes, the game was good. It had Christian finally make his return. And then I played the crap out of Christian. You don't know how. Christian is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Road WrestleMania still returned. The main theme of this game is about creation, because they had more emphasis on like create a superstar. Story design, which I used to play the crap out of. Not so much in 2011 because of a mode, which I'm going to talk about, which is the main thing we do on my channel. Story designer, I used to create so many stories, mainly around Christian and me, but that's another thing. It was just so awesome, especially going online with your friends. Just 2010 was good. It was one of the better SmackDown vs. Raw games. Not saying they were bad, and yes, the previous game were bad. It was just I enjoyed it. Like it, my hype for this game was more hype than what it was for SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. It was like up there with every other game before that. Like 2009 I wasn't really hyped for. SmackDown Raw 2010 I was hyped for. It was good. It had Christian, Road WrestleMania again, and career mode. I never played career mode in 2010. It was just not worth. I mean, wait, was there career mode in 2010? I don't even know, because it was just not worth my time. Let me talk about probably, like, again, one of my favorite games of all time, Smackdown 2011. When I first saw that trailer in the summer of 2010, I was blown away. I was like, are you kidding me? This is the game. Because finally, you can slam people through tables however way you want to. TLC match was freaking awesome. They had to pay for views at that time. Hell in a Cell, TLC, Elimination Chamber. Hell in a Cell is my favorite match of all time, and they finally decided to fix the cell. You could actually move around, grab weapons, even though at the time it was still still cheering the Slap Member. To me, I was sold the moment I saw the Hell in a Cell. The moment I saw how big that Hell in a Cell was, I was sold on the game. Like that was it. They sold me on the game once I saw the Hell in a Cell. And now, this game was basically defining your moment. It had Road to WrestleMania again. But the main point of this game was Universe Mode. Universe Mode, to this day, is my favorite game mode of all WWE games. Universe Mode. Because you get to take a super... Not even to go through a scheduled WWE yearly calendar. Keep going to Universe Mode, get cutscenes. It's just so good. And every year they came... Like, they kept going and adding more stuff to it, just made it even more awesome. Like, I used to play the crap out of you. I remember me and my brother, we used to play Universe Mode. He had a creative superstar. He had his creative superstar. We started off both on Superstars. He was on Smackdown. I was on Raw. And then when the Bash came around, on the same, I always remember this, on the same night, he won the Intercontinental title against, I forgot who had it, and I won the United States title on the same night. We was like, yes, this game is awesome. Just... I know it's a video game, just having that moment, like, pretend like you're actually part of the show, and it's like, okay, you just won the Intercontinental title, and I had the match right, he had the first match, I had the second match, because basically how we did it was, obviously, when it was Raw, I played, and on SmackDown, he played, but we was even all Raw on SmackDown at that point. We was on Superstars, so we played on Superstars, and then once the Bash came around, when he became Intercontinental Champion, I became United States Champion, I was like, yes, this game is freaking awesome. And then we did cross paths at some point. I don't remember. Did we or not? It was like around the time we did. But yeah, it was amazing. Hell in a Cell used to play a crap out of that. And just the physics, they had a new physics engine, which was just made it so much more better. That's pretty much what they did with it. It was just so good. But yeah, after that, 2011 is probably hands down, like I said, one of my top 5 wrestling games of all time, 2011. Then they decided, the gimmick was Universe Mode, basically. They finally decided SmackDown vs. Raw doesn't mean crap anymore since they weren't fighting against each other anymore. It was always on the same brand. So they decided to come out with WWE 12. They decided just to name it just simply WWE. So WWE 12 was the first time they decided. So SmackDown vs. Raw was the last game in the series. They decided to jump ship to WWE 12. When I first saw the game, my face just lit up. I was like, these are the graphics of the game. This looks freaking amazing. And they finally went to more traditional style game. No more analog control stick, just a regular face button, which I always liked anyway. It was just so awesome, the game, WWE 12. And if you remember IGN, they gave it a 9.0. I was like, yes, this is literally the game. Road to WrestleMania, I liked the story. It's just the way they did Road to WrestleMania, I really didn't enjoy it. Because we always had to press Y just to the next cutscene. The whole story as a whole, I enjoyed. I always liked the moment when at the end of the story, Undertaker does this at the end. It was amazing. I always liked that part. But gameplay wise, it was no gameplay because you just always hit Y, just go to the next scene. It was hardly ever pinfall or a submission. But the story-wise, I always liked the story. In Universe Mode, oh my god, Universe Mode, I played the crap out of that. Because you could finally switch the titles around. You could create your own show based, like, instead of having Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, Thursday Night Superstar. Or even change pay-per-views if you want to. It was just that freaking amazing. It was just, yes, this was the game. And IGN said it perfectly. This is the game. WWE 12. They gave it a 9.0, and to this day, this is the route I wanted them to go with. How they did the gameplay and whatnot. It was just so freaking awesome. Now WWE 13 again, I consider one of my favorite games of all time. Again, you'll see with my top 5 WWE 13 because it was a tribute to the era that I grew up in as a kid. Oh yeah, by the way, WWE 12, the gimmick was bigger, badder, better. And the main theme of that game was just like, it's you. You go through WrestleMania, you lived out the story, you go through Universe Mode, you lived throughout that. It was good. Now, WWE 13, WWE 13 was the mark, was the debut, and the return. It was basically a tribute to the Attitude Era, which that's why I consider one of my favorite games of all time. It brought me back to the days where I grew up as a kid. Bring back all the Attitude Era characters: Xbox, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, The Godfather, Val Venus. They brought back everybody from the Attitude Era that I remember as a kid. It was just so awesome to play the Attitude Era mode. Because this was a shift in the series where they decided, instead of decided to do their own Road to WrestleMania, they decided just to focus on actual history. So they decided to play the Attitude Era between 1997 all the way to 1999 WrestleMania 15, which I enjoyed. I used to play the crap out of that. My occasional WWE 13 with those videos got me my channel 1,000 subs, but that was at Best Buy. I did have the game, but just WWE 13 was amazing with Attitude Era mode, and I like what they do with Universe mode. Finally have a full-fledged schedule, create any show you want throughout the day, throughout the whole week. It was just freaking awesome. I used to play Main Event, Superstar. It was just that WWE 13. Now, WWE 2K14. At this time, this was the last THQ. Let me explain. This was WWE 13 was the last game under THQ. It was technically their last game under THQ, publishing-wise. Development-wise, their last game was 2K14. It's just 2K had the publishing rights to it. Because at that time, when THQ went out of business, as you know, and what was it? 2013. They went out of business in 2013. I think early 2013. They gave it to 2K, which is currently doing it right now. However, the game was pretty much done. So the last game in this, that's why I always hate when people say 2K dropped the ball with 2K14. 2K14 was not their game. There was THQ's game just under 2K14's publishing rights. Like, that's what people kind of don't understand to this day. That wasn't their game. As you can see, 2K15, with 2K15, that's their game. They made that game from the ground up. But yeah, 2K14, it was just like Smackdown Raw 2009, with the fact that, like I remember what I said before, that at that point, I bought every game when they released. 2K14 was the only game since 2008 that I did not buy on release day. It was simple fact because it was just not that appealing to me. Yes, it had 30 years of WrestleMania, which I did play. I played through my channel, but remember I did the unboxing. That's the same day I did the unboxing was the same day I got that game, which was like in December, which I never had to me before. I always got on release day, but I just decided just to wait because it was just like, it is what it is. It was nothing really new besides WrestleMania. It was just a rehash of Attitude Era mode. Just instead of Attitude Era, focused on certain era, they focused through all 30 or 29 WrestleManias. It wasn't really that appealing to me. I did buy it because I buy WWE games every year. Just my excitement level of WWE 2K14 was the same level as 2009. It wasn't up there every single game I played. And now after that, we're finally here to this game. WWE 2K15. Finally, the first game to release on next-gen consoles, and also the game that THQ actually made themselves. Not the first game that 2K decided to make themselves. And just looking at it, it's just blowing me away. The stuff that, yes, they only showed very little information, but they already sold me on the game once they talked about, they showed NXT and career mode. The moment they told me about career mode, when I saw it, I hit pre-order right there when I came back from basic training. Pre-order. It was done. As soon as I heard about career mode, we go through actual events. You live like WWE Superstar, and based on what they just showed in their making of WWE 2K15, already had me sold. You're going to be seeing that mainly on my channel. So speaking of, let's talk about how 2K15 is going to work. Next Tuesday is going to be my first live event ever on my channel, which gaming-wise, I've been doing Creative Trials 1 Talks, which I'm still doing. I just haven't had the time to do on Saturdays. Like this Saturday, I had to go to drill. So I'd have the time to do it. But yeah, 2K15, the biggest thing of the year, my most anticipated thing on my channel this year, will be live November 18th, 2014. around between. I don't know when it's gonna. You'll find out. Okay, I'll announce it on my Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, which you should be following. But yeah, pretty much I'm gonna work on a live unboxing. Talk to you guys if you have any questions about what we do when I first get the game, because thanks to the Xbox One, it's gonna have to pre-install first. I'm gonna have to wait a good couple minutes, not a couple minutes, like a half an hour probably. So I'm gonna be just talk to you guys about the game, what you can be excited for, and once I put that game in, it's gonna be just right there. Could play through some matches, go online. It's gonna be a blast. I'm not gonna be doing. I might do like a preview of career mode. Okay, career mode I'm gonna save as like video wise, but I could do it as a live stream. Well as Universe Mode and 2K Showcase, I'm going to save those. There's really no point. I'm going to decide to put it as a series, so that's something you can watch every day. Look forward to in my channel. That's why I didn't get the Xbox 360 version, because I knew. Because what people don't realize with 2K15, two different companies made those games. For the Xbox 360 and PS3, Ukes made that game. For the PS4, Xbox One, Visual Concepts made that game. Like Tony Pizza Guy said in CM Pulse and Smack Talks, these are two completely different games. What you're playing right now on the PS3 and Xbox 360 is not the same game as the Xbox One PS4 version. You could just blatantly tell that. Yes, it uses some of the same stuff, but it's a completely different game. All 2K15 is just a carbon copy of 2K14. It's just even in a worse type of way. But 2K15 is a completely different game. But yeah, live stream for that is going to be good. Take all your questions. This is going to be a blast. Probably the biggest day on my channel going to be November 18th, 2014 with my 2K15 live unboxing gameplay. And in regards to that, I'm going to be doing, after that point, I'm going to be showing 2K Showcase, because, the DLC has more to showcase. Career mode, and my most anticipated thing on my channel, Universe mode, the way I'm going to be, because you know how people do Universe modes on this YouTube channel, they do like that. The way I'm not going to explain yet, I'm going to leave it as a surprise, but when we do my Universe mode, it's going to be unlike any other Universe mode you see on this YouTube channel, on YouTube. It would be like any other Universe mode. You'll see what I'm talking about. But 2K Showcase, Career mode, Universe mode, those are the things to look forward to after my live stream of 2K15. But otherwise, 2K15, just expect a bunch of matches going online against people. It's going to be a blast. Probably even show you guys my Create Superstar, me creating them live. If you guys want to see that. It might be boring to y'all, me just creating my Superstar. Probably will see some matches and whatnot. But yeah, online mode, and just playing through some matches, probably with my brother too, if he probably wants to. Just gonna be going through that, and for the live streams, that's what to expect this Tuesday for the live stream of 2K15. So thank you guys for watching. I know I'm looking at it's been almost more than a half an hour of me talking. There's just a retrospective look of all the WWE games I played, how I felt about them, and now all leading up to the new generation of WWE games, which starts at 2K15. So before I end, my top 5 wrestling games of all time pertain to the Smackdown vs. Raw WWE 2K series. Coming in at number 5, I'll have to say Here Comes the Pain. No, is it? Here Comes the Pain, yes. I think it is. Here Comes the Pain. Number 4 coming in, Smackdown vs. Raw 2008. Number 3, Smackdown vs. Raw 2011. Number 2, WWE 12, and number 1, WWE 13. Those are my top 5 games, in case you didn't hear me, which I just said. Number 5 is Here Comes the Pain. Here Comes the Pain, not Fame. Number 4 is SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. Number 3 is SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. Number 2 is WWE 12, and number 1 is WWE 13. 2K14. I like the game, but it's not WWE 13. It's not my top 5 of all time. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to comment down below. Subscribe to miss anything else on my channel, especially if you don't want to miss this Tuesday for my live 2K15 unboxing / gameplay. As always, this is Creative Tales 1 signing off, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.